Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 114. Today is Sunday, December 20th, 2015, and I am really glad you could join me today. I am recording outside because the light is so crummy inside, it's not even funny, and I turn on the light in the general vicinity, and I'm not sure. But it seems like it's way, way better. And like it's a little bit chilly, but not too crazy, so I'm outside. But I'm not wearing a coat, so you can take that as you will. Delicious coffee. More Mexican vanilla. At some point I'll run out, but for now, there's lots. So, what am I working on? I am working on two things. Let me extract them from my bag. Oh, looks like I didn't get that to the end of a row. Get this one to the end of the row. Yep, I did. So, this has grown quite a bit from when you've seen it last. So this is the Aeolian shawl. It is an Elizabeth Freeman pattern, and I'm knitting it out of Miss Babs Katadin. It is a free pattern on Knitty, and I am getting to the point where this is probably the least scrunched. You'll see it. After this, it'll be too long, I'm assuming. And I have finished, excuse me, I've finished all of my repeats of the yucca chart. I'm now transitioning from the yucca to the agave. And actually this next row I think will actually be the one where I do something different than what I have been doing. And unfortunately I don't have this against a solid background, so it's a little bit hard to see what's going on. But it is delightfully the yarn is delightfully variegated, and the beads is just riddled with beads, which I think you can see now that it's really close. And it's nice and semi-solid, so it's turning out really lovely. There is way, 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 way more yarn than I need. Oh, here's the little crochet hook. Way, way, way more yarn than I need. But that's fine. I'm probably going to be making an in-between size because the large size is ridiculous, and the small size seemed a little too small. So since I have unlimited yarn, or enough yarn to make the large size, I think I can get away with that. So instead of doing 2 repeats of the yucca chart, I did 4. And you have to keep it even numbers anyways, so so I'm not sure what I'm going to do to continue to expand it, but we'll see how it goes. There's like an alternative chart, so I need to think about whether or not I'm going to incorporate it. I know I'm going to do a picot bind off because the recipient really likes the look of that, even though she doesn't know what it means. Oh well, non-knitters, such is life. Now what I started yesterday, and actually managed to get a decent amount of progress on, is the mulled cider. So this is a part of the winter is coming sweater cal, and it's probably cold enough today where this would have been handy. And actually I'm almost done with the row, so I think I'll finish it off. So this is a Thea Coleman pattern, and she writes under the name Baby Cocktails. And like really, really thought out. Like her patterns end up giving a lot of the context of the why, so that has been really interesting, at least for me. Is like there are ramifications to your choices, and it goes from there. So it's actually, this is the back. And it's reverse stockinette. So, so this is going to be, it's going to go down actually to mid-thigh. So it's quite long, and then, oh, you can't see the markers, but in between the markers is the little leaf pattern, which, oh, you can see it here on the podcast. It's pretty subtle, the little pattern. Because the yarn is so dark, it doesn't make it pop, but I'm still gonna go ahead and do it. After I finished the ribbing, I started alternating skeins because that was about half a skein. And so you can see on the wrong side, I think some pretty clear stripes. So you can see the ribbing is lighter, and then you can see the stripes there. But on the right side of the work, because it's reverse stockinette, it ends up blending a lot nicer, so that was really nice feature. And pretty much the entire thing is in reverse stockinette, so it doesn't really matter because it's in pieces. It's the same amount of work anyways. So I don't think I'm too, what is that? At some point I'm going to reach a point where I actually need to do something different, but for the time being it looks like I'm going to be okay. I'm just losing stitches. And this will continue along. It's much more mindless than the old Aeolian shawl is, so that ends up being a big benefit there, because it's a lot easier carry around project, even though it is a ridiculous amount of yarn. So I had been keeping my acrylic in this bag, but it turns out this bag can hold it all. Ah, losing balls. Silly balls. So, balls are just all over the place, but there are a lot of balls in this bag. So, so I'm glad I figured out a solution for that. So I don't know if I'll be carrying it around with me wherever I go, or if I'm just going to bring it with me in the car, and if I decide I'm going to run out, throw one into the knitting bag. I know the next one I'll need, I wanted to alternate between the darker skeins and the lighter skeins, and correspondingly it seems like the darker and lighter skeins have different weight to them. So the darker skeins are a little bit thinner and the lighter skeins are a little bit thicker. So I think that'll blend nicely, because they are all, shall we say, special, unique little snowflakes. Whatever. So it's all wound up. It's going now. I have a giant bag of balls. I ended up putting pictures of my swatches up on Instagram. I decided to go with the size 8 needles instead of the 7. It turned out that after I washed and blocked it, it stayed the same size. So because of that, the 8s are much closer to gauge, but I'm not going to do too much rejiggering. I decided to cast on the 38 pattern, and I'm assuming there's ease built in. It seems like that the back piece is substantial, so this makes sense. Since it is outerwear, I don't really want to have it be, what is it, too big or something like that. Oh, went crazy crochet hook. So it does seem to be coming along fairly nicely. It's probably, this needle is probably a smidge short for making the back, but the rest of, this is the largest piece. So it shouldn't be too crazy there. And I think that this project is actually going to be getting a lot of love. in the coming days and that sort of thing. Just because it is a really straightforward knit, and there's been a lovely amount of downtime, so always enjoy that. Was there anything else I wanted to say about that? I don't think there was. So I'm just enjoying knitting on it, that's all. Oh, and that was a bad place. Okay. At least get past the marker there. So that is a story there. I did manage to finish something last week. So I did finish my aviatrix hat number 2. So here's hat number 1, with all of its finishing and ends woven in and all that other fun stuff. And here is hat number 2. And I think the light ends up showing this a lot better, because this is really, really vivid yarn. So I think we can actually get a proper viewing of the hat. So super duper cute. And it's the case where I'm sort of glad I ended up using this yarn for the hat, because like display the socks. This is actually the same yarn in socks, and it ended up fading a decent amount with washing. So hat doesn't get washed nearly as much, so it'll stay super bright and cute for a while. I got some black buttons to attach, and I will attach them very, very firmly. They might be hanging out in the bottom of my bag, but they're just black 4-hole buttons and seem to be the right, what is it, the right size for what I'm trying to do. Delightful coffee. So, and you probably won't see them with the buttons on, because I should really get it in the mail. I was thinking I would send it this week, but it didn't end up turning out, so we'll make it work. And then what I have here is my Hello Yarn Falkland in the pigment colorway. So this time it seems to be I'm making a much bigger turtle, which is fine. And I just finished another ball. If there's still like 2 ounces left on this, I might end up throwing it into my spin the bin. I found out today that it actually started today, so I'm gonna have to dig through the fiber stash and pull out some spin the bin fibers. Let's see. I'm just sort of curious what the count of the balls is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oops, 7, leave that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I have 13 left to go, which seems to be a lot of balls. But so it's just like, so 13 balls to go. Where did I put the little twist tie? There we go. And I'm probably 5 in already. So what I'm probably going to do is what is it? Throw, like, if this turns out to still be 2 ounces of fiber, I'll throw it into my spin the bin for 2016. And then basically just say it's partially left over. Oh well. Shouldn't be too big a deal, but I would enjoy finishing the project. And it's just the case where it needs to be the right thing in order to, or whatever, the right activity in order to get some work done on it. So nothing too crazy there. Probably what I'm going to be doing this afternoon is rolling around to the fiber stash and deciding what it is I want to include. I know I'm going to be including something for my Heat a Few Days spin. I know I'm going to be including some bats I got, because that's actually the oldest fiber in my stash. I'll probably just end up throwing in everything that is oldest and see what happens. And I'll probably end up doing, 4 ounces a month. I did an awful lot of 2-ounce things, but that was because it was the fleece spin. And I'll have to decide whether or not I'm going to put in the cross fleece as well. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to knit the sweater, and then whatever. I'll be thinking about my next sweater spin. So all sorts of potential. So look forward to next week me showing you all the things in the bin, because it'll, I don't know, I guess it depends on how cold it is, whether or not I'm outside or not. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about? So, the Winter is Coming sweater cal will be wrapping up on the 31st of December. I find it doubtful that I will finish the mold cider in 11 days. They're big needles, but they're not that big. Though I will have a decent amount of knitting time, because I will be having a couple of days off in the next 2 weeks. I should be able to record next week, so that'll be the 27th. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? And for the most part, it's just getting everything ready for Christmas. I'm going to be home for Christmas this year, so it means a lot less worry in terms of making sure everything's good to go. But alternatively, there's an awful lot of stuff that we don't have lying around, so it makes it a little bit more complicated there. I've really got nothing. Not nearly the finishing spree that it was last week. So with that, I will let you guys go. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.